up? What up? It's your boy DJ Naeem. I want to give a huge shout out. Going out to my Jersey boys, breaking down these UFC cards, baby. Let's go.
Got a little mama and she chillin' by the poolside. Fashion over drip, body done with a hair tie. Ex keep calling, tell that boy he need to sit back. You don't got a bag, you can never get your chick back. Broke boys, we don't like them. Bad, 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 yeah, we pipe them. And I need some big money with some hype fans. Said I need some big money with some hype fans. Broke boys, we don't like them. Bad, 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 yeah, we pipe them. And I need some big money with some hype fans. Said I need some big money with some hype fans.
Check. When I'm in Vegas, bring the drops out. Yeah. When I'm in Miami, bring the yachts out. Water.
What's up, Drew?
Yo, what's up, my boy?
This is the Jersey Boys podcast. What are we here to talk about tonight? You want to introduce it? You're the host now.
Hey, what's up, man? So, welcome to the Jersey Boys podcast, where we talk about everything fighting. This weekend, we're talking about UFC 24. Kelvin Gastelum versus Robert Whittaker, and should be a good one, man. I'm excited. How about you?
Listen, I'm excited, but really, this is a big week for you. Birthday boy. All right, so birthday was on Tuesday. Everybody's trying to figure out what are you guys doing recording on Thursday. Drew's birthday was on Tuesday. He had a triangle choke submission victory on Saturday. And then,
yes,
and then, of course, you know what? I just said, I didn't even tell him. I just said, host a podcast. It's not even a big deal.
That's awesome, man.
Bro,
Thank you so much for that.
You have a lot of talent, so we're just all blessed. We're blessed to be here with you. So, so again, I reached out to Book It this week, and Book It is telling me that they are working on trying to get UFC on the platform. As of right now, UFC is not on the platform. So if you're not on the Book It platform, now is the time to download Book It Sports. All right, get yourself ready so you can track your UFC bets on their platform. So Drew, I know you post some bets on there. I also post some bets on there for NHL. I got some NHL plays today. What did I do? Two NHL plays. What did I do? I posted it. One Major League Baseball play, and then we were all in a group parlay, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're all in on that.
I think I'm losing that group parlay, by the way.
Yeah. But yeah, like he said, guys, you can follow me on the Book It Sports app. I pretty much post every single day. We have a Discord chat where we post our plays every single day as well. So, I mean, follow us everywhere on Twitter, Discord. If you guys want to get on the chat, let us know. And on Book It. Book It right now is something that's on the come up, and I absolutely love the app. If you're someone who's into gambling or just into lines or into sports, period, it's a great app. And like I said, you can find all of our plays there. We're tracked there. A lot of people say, no, you don't track your plays. Well, all of our plays are tracked there. So come check us out, and let's get into this card.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, Drew, some people that listen to this podcast may be into gambling, but we are definitely into gambling. So let's get some quick picks up right now. So the first quick pick for me, again, they redid this card, I believe, today, because when I printed it out earlier today, I think there were 13 fights. They finally took off the Ramos Bill Algeo fight, which I did. I probably did more research on that fight than any other fight. So of course that's the one that they take off the card. So I'm gonna go first quick pick, Tony Gravely. Who do you like in that fight, Gravely or Burchak?
Wait, did you say Gravely you liked?
Yeah, I like Gravely.
All right, well, I hate to do it, but yeah, I'm in the same boat, Gravely.
Nah, don't hate to do it, bro. We're on the same team here.
Nah, bro. Hey, wait, quick update, guys. Remember last week when we were talking about Mackenzie Dern? You guys remember?
That, yeah.
Do you remember that? Okay, just remind us who won that fight.
Mackenzie Dern. She looked real good too.
Okay, and if I can remember correctly, the line on that was plus 300 for her to win by submission. Remember that?
No, was it really plus 300?
Yes, it was. Cash that. Thank you very much, and we move on.
Wow, I didn't realize it was plus 300. I should have bet that one. I should listen to Drew. That's what I should do. All right, so let's move on. I'll be honest with you. The second fight I did not tape, so I'm not even going to give a quick pick. Nunes and Farron, I think is her name. Zara Farron.
Yeah.
You got a quick pick for us?
Josiah Nunes.
Okay. I got Austin Hubbard in this next one against Dakota Bush. What do you think?
Hubbard as well.
Hubbard, okay. I'm going with the upset, Meerschaert over Fabinski. I feel like this is the perfect matchup for Meerschaert. And if I'm gonna bet him, which I am, I want to see. I didn't even look, so maybe we can check out the props. But I like him by sub here. I think Fabinski winds up putting his neck where it doesn't belong, and he winds up getting himself guillotined or something. What do you think here?
I was kind of leaning Fabinski just because I really don't like Gerald. So, I mean, yeah, he does have the sub factor, so I kind of agree with you there. But for some reason, I feel like he likes to strike when he shouldn't, and that's what's going to get him in trouble here. So,
Fabinski. Yeah. Well, and the good thing is I don't think Fabinski can strike.
Exactly, but who knows, man? Gerald's always weird. I hate betting on him.
Yeah, no, I agree. Jessica Pena and Lupita Godinez. I'm gonna go Godinez.
Yep, I took it right out of my mouth. Lupita.
Okay. Alexander Romanov and Juan Espino. I'm gonna go Romanov. Who do you like here?
I'm gonna send it on Romanov too. I think that's gonna be like one of the fights, like out of the prelims. I don't really like a lot of fights to bet on, to be completely honest with you. But the Romanov fight, I like that fight for a couple reasons. So it's gonna be a good one. So I'm gonna go Romanov there.
I mean, if we're talking bets, I'm probably betting Romanov.
Absolutely.
I may be throwing Hubbard into a parlay. I'm probably throwing Hubbard into a parlay. This next fight, Tracy Cortez, I'm going to throw her in a parlay. I like Tracy Cortez. I don't love the line, but I just think she's going to win the fight. So quick pick is Cortez. What do you think here?
You see, I'm gonna go Cortez Romanov in a 2-leg parlay.
Oh, you're calling your shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's what I do, dog.
All right. So we're right here. We're right here at the main card. So again, anybody who may be a first time listener or hasn't listened to the whole podcast before, we usually mess around with the quick picks early, throw a bet if we have anything. I actually haven't made any bets yet. I'm just going. I have bets written down that I plan on making. I'll check the lines on the 4 books that I use, see what the best lines are, and then go from there. But if you look in the show notes, you'll see our quick picks for those 7 fights. I'll put them down, or 6 fights, because I actually didn't give a fight for the second one, but Drew did. So you'll see my 6 quick picks. You'll see Drew's 7 quick picks. And then we'll break down these main card fights, Drew. So the first fight, I'll start, and then, again, we can go back and forth here. But Luis Pena and Alex Munoz. And Luis Pena is somebody who I like to fade. He always seems to come in as the favorite. I didn't check that, so I'm not going to say he comes in every single time as the favorite, but I always feel like he comes into these fights as the favorite, and then get midway through the first round, and I'm just like, why didn't I bet against Luis Pena? And again, this is another situation where I would like to bet against Luis Pena, but I just don't think I can. There's a big difference in height. There's a big difference in reach. Alex Munoz, when I saw the name, I forgot who he was for a second. And I don't know if you remember this, but he was the guy who they brought in to fight Nick Newell on Contender Series. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And it wasn't really close. It was maybe close early, but as the fight went along, like you almost wanted to cry for Nick Newell in round 3 because you just knew that he wasn't going to get that win and get his shot to get into the UFC. And for anyone who doesn't know Nick Newell, he only has 1 arm, but he's a very good fighter, and Dana White wasn't going to give him a shot for a long time, and then wound up giving him a shot in Contender Series. So again, he got his shot against Alexander Munoz, and Munoz didn't get a contract, so he had to fight once more after that, and then came back in and fought Nasrat Haqparast on short notice. I believe that was his UFC debut, and Haqparast just put a clinic on him. I'm surprised Haqparast didn't knock him out. My only concern is that he does throw pretty big hooks. I think he was able to take Haqparast down early in the first round. Haqparast bounced right back up, and then I don't think he got Haqparast. He wasn't able to secure a takedown the rest of the fight. But the thing with Munoz is he is the wrestling coach at Team Alpha Male. Okay, at least he was back when he fought Nick Newell. I believe he still is. Very good wrestler. But again, height disadvantage, reach disadvantage. You would have to think if Luis Pena is going to fight that smart fight, he's going to keep range. And then when he does get in, he's got a long body. He can obviously get the body triangle if he can get an advantageous position. Maybe try to get a rear naked choke or get that guillotine if Munoz winds up dropping his head and trying to get that takedown. So that's what I see here. I think it's going to be a Luis Pena win. I just don't bet on Luis Pena, so I'm staying away from this fight as a betting fight. But Drew, what do you think here?
Well, first and foremost, to pretty much clarify and to pretty much solidify your statement, Luis Pena has been the favorite in every single fight he's been in the UFC.
He has, okay.
He literally has not been a dog, not even close. I think the smallest favorite he was like minus 150. Everything else is in the 200s, minus 180 and above. So he's pretty much always favored. And then in his last fight, he comes up against Cameron Worley, which he was a minus 265 favorite, and then somehow finds his way into a guillotine. I honestly, no words for it. So for me,
third round too, by the way, third round guillotine, right?
Yeah. So it's like for me, there's no words because I feel like he was winning that fight. I feel like he was doing what he needed to do. I mean, pretty much justifying his favorite number going into that fight. But still, I don't know, man. Bob Ross has always been sketchy to me. He's always been a fighter that he's right at that cusp of breaking through, but just doesn't. I don't know. He just doesn't. I don't know if it's a mental hurdle or whatever it is. He just doesn't seem to get over the hump. Now in this fight, I mean, here's the main difference, and you said it. Alex Munoz, when he fought Hapgrass, he did get him down. Now Hapgrass was able to get up, and he has better wrestling defense and better wrestling, in my opinion, than Lewis does here. So if anything, if Alex gets Lewis to the ground here, you could see a very, very boring fight where Luis Pena, if you've seen it in the past, him getting taken down to the ground is almost his like kryptonite. Once he gets down to the ground, you would think he has some sort of jiu-jitsu because he probably has some sub wins and he looks like he's all right off his back. But against a good, decent wrestler, and I think Alex Munoz is more than a good, decent wrestler, it could be kind of difficult for him to get off his back. I mean, especially if he gets taken out in the middle of the ring, because if he doesn't have the cage to wall to use or to wall crawl, whatever it is, I mean, can be a very, very, very boring fight where he just grinds out a win, Alex Munoz, and then comes up as a dog with a win and makes a lot of people money. But here, like you said, if Lewis keeps the distance, Lewis keeps it rangy, he can win. I mean, who knows? He's been seen working with Dake recently. He works with Gamrot, who we saw Gamrot last week blast his opponent. So, I mean, Lewis has been fighting. He's out of what? AKA, he was fighting out of ATT for a while. So, I mean, maybe
I think he switched up again.
Oh, right back to ATT? Yeah.
I think so. I know he's not at AKA anymore. All
right. Because Tapology hasn't updated, and I see AKA here. But even still, just the fact that he was at AKA for a little while and worked a little bit, I mean, it's sort of ironic that on Tapology, his foundation style, it says wrestling, when his wrestling is somewhat questionable and suspect. So, I mean, who knows, man? It can go either way. Lewis comes out here and they serve him up a dish, and he comes out, justifies that violent Bob Ross, and keeps it moving. I mean, it is very marketable, that name. So he gets a couple wins. He could be a star potentially. But who knows, man? Who I'm going with, I'd probably have to go with over 2.5 rounds because I'm pretty sketchy and don't want to bet on Bob Ross. But if I have to pick an angle, I'd probably go with the over 2.5 rounds. That's probably where I'm going because I mean, Lewis can probably chip him up and pick him apart, but I don't think he can put him away, to be completely honest.
Well, let me give you the odds there. Over 2.5 rounds is minus 215. Parlay piece for you?
Absolutely.
Okay. So yeah,
I'll tell you what piece that's going with next when we get there.
Okay, so I'll jot that down. Are we getting there right now? Do you want to introduce this next fight?
I'll tell you when we get there.
Okay.
I'll tell you when we get there, bud. But here we are with Jacob Malkoun, and Is this Wally's favorite fighter, Abdul Razak Alhassan?
I think he loves him. He loves him.
Oh.
Shout out Wally Woo. We're being a little sarcastic with that, by the way.
Yeah.
He bets on our buddy Waldo bets on Abdul Razak Alhassan every single card, like these big parlays, and he always, craps the bet, as you know the saying.
It's pretty hilarious. Like, but anyway, I'll tell you guys a story later. But I mean, about this fight, I mean, again, Abdul Razak Alhassan should win, no? I mean, he's the more powerful fighter. He's the more athletic fighter. Jacob Malkoun isn't as fast, isn't as athletic. The only thing that worries me is that Abdul, like in every fight, whenever he comes in and flurries and fights the way that he does, he leaves his chin on the roof. It's in midair every single time. And I mean, that's pretty much what you see out of these style of fighters, like him, like Chaos, like these fighters that fight in flurries, that they'll come in, they'll measure you, and then throw 4 or 5 powerful punches. And if they catch you, good night. Have a good trip. But I mean, Abdul Razak Alhassan in this fight against Jacob Malkoun, who's out of Gracie Ridge, who's actually the training partner of Robert Whittaker,
correct?
Who's going to fight? I mean, wouldn't you assume that he has everything? He's well-rounded. He's literally the main training partner of the main event. His last fight, he lost to Phil Halls. I mean, Phil Halls blanked him. I mean, if you didn't see that coming, I guess whatever. And then every fight before that, he's been winning. Granted, he's only been in the UFC now, 2 fights? This will be his second one. So we're not really seeing a lot of Jacob right now, and we don't know a lot of him other than he trains with the champion or, ex-champion Robert Whittaker. So there's a lot to be seen with him. Is he a jiu-jitsu guy? I would assume so. He's out of Gracie Ridge. I've actually seen in the comments, it's pretty funny. I was watching an interview, and one of the comments was like, "Oh, Jacob's my jiu-jitsu coach." So, I mean, he's pretty decent. He's pretty good, I guess. He teaches classes. Who knows? Maybe his path to victory here is evading a lot of power and just getting this fight to the ground somehow and neutralizing the athleticism of Alhassan. I mean, because what else is Alhassan going to do? Can you tell me? Is there another game plan for Alhassan other than knocking your block off and using his judo? I don't know. So, I mean, you tell me, bro. What do you think?
Well, I'll be pretty straightforward. How do I sound right now if I move the mic a little bit away? Does it still sound good?
No, you're good, man. You're great.
Okay. So this is where I'm going with this. First of all, Alhassan is dropping down, right? I'm sorry, is going up in weight. He usually fights at 170, right? So I'm sorry, he's going the other way. He didn't make weight his last 2 fights and lost both of those fights. So now he's going up in weight. Obviously, the weight cuts are just not for him. I think that this is exactly what he needs to become the guy that he wants to become. So I personally don't think that, Malkoun, however you say his name, has really shown us anything. I think that what we all know is that Razak Alhassan has big power. So I expect him to come out and use that big power. So again, Phil Hawes was able to knock him out in the first round. Alhassan has more power and is more athletic than Phil Hawes. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. So I think that it's very safe to take Alhassan KO. I think it's safe to take – I'll put the odds up here so that we can kind of discuss and see what we like. But I think if you wanted to take under 1.5 rounds, thinking that Alhassan is going to be able to finish him there, I like that. Let's just say Malkoun is the BJJ artist that you say he is. He's probably going to wind up taking him down and trying to get that finish early anyway. So I'm going to take the under 1.5 rounds, minus 130. That's going to be a bet of mine. You can take Alhassan wins by KO TKO at minus 135, but if that happens, I think that's going to be in the first 1.5 rounds anyway. So I feel like I'm getting a better number with just taking the under 1.5 rounds. Because the one thing about Alhassan is he does gas. I don't know if he's going to gas here because again he's not cutting the same weight that he normally does. But I'll even go a step further, Drew, and I'll look for Alhassan KO wins in the first round is plus 140. I would go KO in the first round would probably be my best bet. So that's more or less what I'm looking at. What do you think in terms of bets? You want me to throw those odds back up there for you?
Nope, I already saw it. I'd probably go with Alhassan inside the distance at minus 140, because that's a good spot. Because I mean, you know that he has the potential to win by KO, right? But the biggest thing you worry about is his gas. And like you said, what I do like is that now he's not really cutting weight. And one thing for me, I know whenever I compete or whenever I go into a fight, I hate cutting weight. That's why sometimes I'll take a match up in weight or whatever it is, because you do perform better at your natural weight and the weight you walk around at. And he is a very big muscular guy. So regardless of if he's cutting weight or not cutting weight, I feel like he can still gas, which is why if Malkoun can dodge some power, which I don't think he can, but you never know. I mean, Malkoun, don't get me twisted. He has some power himself. I mean, it's not like Alhassan's power, but I mean, you're in a fight, dude. If you get caught the right way, you can get put to sleep, and that's why Alhassan's chin in the air when he's going in with those flurries is something that really worries me. Because he literally leaves it like he's up here, throwing looping punches, and that's not what you want to do, especially with a guy who's probably more calculated than he is. Remember, he's sparring with Robert Whittaker. He's not sparring with someone who's loopy and crazy. He's sparring with someone who's calculated, someone who's a tactician. So, I mean, do you think Malkoun is not the same? Remember, we literally don't know anything about Malkoun. We know 2 fights of him. I mean, unless you've done some tape study, which we have. But at the end of the day, what more can you say about that? I mean, some of his tape is old. Some of his tape is from a while back. So you really can't say much about him right now other than he got knocked the hell out in his last fight, and it was kind of expected. What next? You know what I'm saying? So great fight. Should be exciting. I mean, but I don't think this is a parlay piece for me. Probably I'll just take it straight up. If I go to bet on it, but it'd probably be inside the distance or on FanDuel, I think it is. Yeah, on FanDuel and on BetMGM. There's the fight just to end by a certain way, like either by KO, by submission, or something like that. So I'd probably take this to end by KO, whichever way it goes, but by KO, because I don't think the judges are even going to have to do anything here. They could take a break for this fight.
Yeah, and guys, Drew misspoke. In Jersey, we have a lot of books, but we don't talk about any other book other than BetMGM. So sign up with our affiliate.
Sorry.
Okay, just pretend that you only bet on BetMGM, please. So sign up with our affiliate BetMGM.
Hey, listen.
Link on the bottom. Go ahead, brother.
Listen. I said I was there, but I haven't used FanDuel in such a long time. But BetMGM actually has been the only book I've been using exclusively for a while now. So shout out to that.
So shout out to our sponsor, BetMGM. All right. Risk-free first bet. And again, if you come to our website, in the show notes and on the website, you can get our link. And I would highly recommend you sign up with the casino link. The casino link allows you to download the link and deposit $1,000, and you get $1,000 free on that deposit. So you're basically getting $2,000. You can then use that money in the sportsbook. But you have to use the casino link to get that $1,000 match. So I highly recommend that. So Drew, let's get into this next fight, and this is an interesting fight. It's Andrei Arlovski, who's coming in somewhat short notice, but I don't know if that really matters for him, just because he doesn't really cut a whole lot of weight, right? I don't think he cuts weight at all, to be honest with you.
No.
If he's in shape, he's in shape, and he can get himself ready to fight. I'm sure he's training against Chase Sherman, and I don't know what we're going to see from Chase Sherman. I know what we used to see from Chase Sherman. He would walk forward. Again, these guys are not – I would be very surprised if they go to the ground. It would be uncharacteristic, completely uncharacteristic if this fight went to the ground. Unless someone gets knocked out and they go to the ground. That would be about it. But we're going to see these two guys strike. Arlovski in the fights that he's successful in does a very good job of counterpunching, controlling distance, using his kicks, although Chase Sherman has those like tree trunk legs and really probably gets the better of the kicks. But if Arlovski can control distance, make Chase Sherman come forward, which is the way he fights, I think Arlovski can counterpunch his way, maybe even into a knockout, because Chase is going to come forward with his chin up in the air. You just mentioned it before. But Chase does the same thing, right? He's coming forward. If Arlovski times that punch and puts one on his chin, he can knock him out. So I like Arlovski double chance here. I like Arlovski by decision or KO TKO. There's not going to be a sub here. So it's going to be by decision or KO TKO. I think this, in all likelihood, if Arlovski controls range, he probably brings us to decision, maybe wins a 29-28 split, something like that. But that's more or less what I see. Now, there's a couple things working against Chase, right? They said that he was on some kind of performance-enhancing drugs. I'm not really sure what it was.
Estrogen blocker.
Is that what it was? So, again, if he's on that, Drew, then what is he trying to do?
Well, I mean, he's pretty much just trying to build up all the testosterone in his body to pretty much go out there and rock it, to the best of his ability. I mean, Chase Sherman is a firefighter. Let's not get this wrong. He's a firefighter who had to take a leave of absence. I think he's actually not currently a firefighter to pretty much just chase his dreams, which is what I heard in an interview. And from what I know, Chase Sherman thinks he's about to walk right through Andrei Arlovski. Out of the two, he has the better leg kicks. Out of the two, Andrei blocks better. But the thing about Andrei, it's funny, he's 42 years old, 50 fights in the UFC, 50 fights in his career. Chase Sherman, 15-6. Chase Sherman is someone who I guess looked all right. I don't think he was always a heavyweight either, was he? He's the Vanilla Gorilla, 6'4", 78-inch reach. Arlovski, I think his reach is only off by not so much. I think either by an inch. So this fight, I don't know, man. Every time I see Andrei fight, I want to bet against him just because I think that's it. It's over. Whoever he's fighting is about to close the door on his career, give him that last L, and send him packing. But every single time that I bet against him, he comes out and looks better, looks sharper, and uses all of his veteran skills to win. That's the thing that he has going for him right now in this stage of his career, is that he just knows how to win. He knows how to take these guys who are up-and-comers, who are thinking of the same thing that I'm thinking, that are just here to put him away and just end his career. And if he gets rocked, he knows how to handle that. He gets put in bad spots. He literally knows how to. I mean, in 50 fights, you've probably been in every bad spot in a cage that you can be in. So that's why I think he's a good bet here. But I don't know, man. I'm always thinking that it's going to be that fight. That here we go. They put him away and send him packing. And Chase can very well do that, man. I think that Chase can come in here and, just like you said on that interview, he can very well walk right through Andrei Arlovski. I mean, Andrei Arlovski does have a good chin, but when is enough? When are you going to be done at 42 years old? I mean, I don't think he can really handle what Chase in this standpoint is going to do, because Chase in his last couple fights, he looked a little bit flabby. He looks a little bit out of shape. He doesn't really look good in his striking, and he does leave his chin in the air. But in this fight, he looks a little bit more in shape. He's been training an elevation fight team, which he was doing that while he was out of the UFC, pretty much helping the fighters get in shape, over him, and the blades of the world that are pretty much up there. So you think he's not going to get better? You think he's not going to be prepared for Andrei? I think he does. So slightly, what are the odds on, because I haven't really seen it, but what are the odds on Chase Sherman? I know he's the underdog. Let me see if I can see him on top.
I got you. I'll pull it up for you. So he's right now, Chase is plus 100. I think that line flipped.
It just did. Right?
Because I thought that Arlovski was the dog here.
No, Arlovski was the favorite, but if you can see it, Arlovski's been the favorite just because it's been coming in. If you look at the line.
Let me see this right here.
See, the line's been dropping for Arlovski.
Oh yeah, he was the favorite. I see. I thought Chase was the favorite. But again, I really haven't looked at odds until now. I just did my tape study.
No, of course. But Chase, I like that at the plus 100, and Chase winning by decision. Where's that at?
We can go down there. Hold on.
Like that double chance that you were saying, like Chase winning by TKO, KO, or decision. That looks something that
I don't think they have double chance on here, but obviously on our books we can get it. So you can go on bet MGM and you can get it.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Did I miss Chase by decision? Oh, there it is. Sherman wins by decision plus 350. That's not bad.
Okay, what about Sherman wins inside the distance? Because I like that a lot better. That's plus 235.
Plus 255 is KO TKO.
Well, plus 235 is what I like better, to be completely honest with you. I mean, TKO, I don't know, because sometimes picking those TKOs, KOs is kind of weird because then he finds a weird sub in these heavyweight fights where he gets blasted. And then for some reason, when the heavyweights or just fighters, period, they see the neck just hanging out. They want to go for that weird guillotine or whatever it is. So that's why I just like going inside the distance better a lot there at plus 235.
I'll be honest with you, I got a feeling someone gets clipped here.
Oh, absolutely. Someone's going to get clipped here. This fight's going to be exciting.
I think I may even go, I'm going to write it down right now. I'm going to go under 2.5 rounds. Well, I feel like someone's getting clipped. I feel like Chase is getting clipped, but I feel like, someone's getting clipped here. That's what I feel like.
Well, this one is my other parlay piece. So the other one I had the over 2.5, and this one I have the under 2.5. So that's the Lewis Pena fight going over 2.5, and this fight here going under 2.5. So
I like it.
So that's a 2-leg, and honestly, that's something that I'm going to do this weekend. Just a little new strategy I'm working on, the 2-leg parlays. So I think that's what I'm going to head with. That one right there, that's one of them. I'm going to release actually 3 this weekend along with like 5 straight picks. So it should be good.
Yeah, and again, guys, Drew releases a lot of stuff. I release a lot of stuff. We do have a company at this point, Jersey Boy Sports Media. Those are the 2 Twitter hashtags that I basically put all the information out for. You can see my Twitter hashtag there. You see Drew's. Check them out. I released 2 NHL bets tonight. I think I'm 1-1, but they were both plus money, so you made a little money there. We'll see. I'm not even paying attention. Obviously, I'm doing the podcast. I don't have time to look at the odds and stuff. But Drew, I want to get into this next fight, and I want you to introduce it just because I feel like you have to make a decision with Jeremy Stephens in this fight, right? He's going up in weight, and I think we kind of know what we're going to see from Drakkar Klose. At least I feel like I do. I feel like I don't know what I'm going to see from Jeremy Stephens after 4 losses and coming up in weight. So I'll introduce it for you. It's Drakkar Klose, 11-2-1 against Jeremy Stephens, who is 28-18. And again, most of his fights are in the UFC. By the numbers, Jeremy Stephens is now coming up to 155. Stephens has a 1-inch reach advantage. They're the same height, but he usually fights at 145. So is this the play? Is the play for Stephens to come up? Does his power follow him? His striking accuracy is only 40%, but he throws big bombs, right? So if he connects with one of those hooks, he could put Klose to sleep. And again, Klose just went to sleep in his last fight. He got himself knocked out by Beneil Dariush. So, Drew, that's my introduction for you. Give us that breakdown. Fight analyst, Andrew Valencia.
So, for me, it's pretty funny, right? Because Jeremy Stephens, like you talk about the four fight losing streak that he's on, dude, he holds the record for the most losses in the UFC. I mean, a loss to him, especially with the amount of fighters that he's fought, the amount of time that he's been in the UFC, the type of talent that he's fought in the UFC. And not only that, he's very almost like Justin Gaethje, where he puts it all on the line every single fight. So for me, Jeremy Stephens is a guy who's in there. He probably moved up right now at 145, to be completely honest, to help with the weight cut, to help with his brain, period. Because, you know, if you have to cut weight, you're pretty much dehydrating yourself, taking away from your brain. So you're not going to be able to take a lot of shots because you can get blasted if you're dehydrated. And if you're not hydrated properly and you're going into these fights where a lot of the times you're coming out looking like you were in a car crash, it's better that you have a little bit of weight on you. So, but here he's fighting Drakkar Klose, who we saw him in his last fight against Beneil Dariush. He looked all right. He was coming forward, mixing it up a little bit, but then he gets caught in round 2 and fight's over. What do you take away from that? I mean, he's fought some good fights. He's fought some good talent, Bobby Green, Lando Veneta, Crystal Gigos, Mark DeCasey. So, I mean, Drakkar Klose is no slouch. Absolutely not. He has 4 wins by KO, 7 by decision, 0 by sub. So what does that tell you? That we're going to have a fight here. We're going to have a striking fight here. No one's really going to take it to the ground here. And if anybody hits the ground, it's because they're knocked the hell out or clocked or whatever it is. But I mean, between both fighters, who really goes to the cards more? I feel like it would be Drakkar here, right? And that's because although he does come forward and although he does fight very hard, Drakkar is more calculated as opposed to Jeremy Stephens. Jeremy Stephens is somebody who depends on, I guess, his toughness. You know, it's just like I said, like that Justin Gaethje mindset where he comes forward, he has pressure, he has good boxing, he has high output, and then, of course, the one-punch KO. But, I mean, he hasn't won a fight in literally 3 years. 3 years hasn't won a fight. But he's a proven vet. And for me, I feel like with Jeremy Stephens, are we going to see a run at the title? I don't really think we are. But
at 155, that's tough.
Dude, which is what I'm trying to say. I feel like this is probably leading him down a path to retirement. Because you're going to jump into shark-infested waters where there's people ranked from like 1 to 50 who are absolutely amazing, not to mention the other 50 guys in that division, and you're just about to jump up and you're thinking about to win 3 fights after losing 4 and make a title run? No, bro. I feel like this is him going up, collect a couple more checks, and call it a day, man. Jeremy Stephens, thank you for all the fights. He's 34. Jakkar's 33. Drakkar even. I mean, Drakkar can maybe make a run. He's 11-2. He is 33, but comparing the damage, and like I always say, ages fight like dogs, man. And comparing the damage, Drakkar is way, way younger. And I guess you want to say fight years compared to Jeremy Stephens with the amount of damage that Jeremy Stephens has taken in his fights. So this one should be exciting.
You want to see some odds?
Yeah, please.
Put some odds.
I want to say Jeremy Stephens. Of course, he's going to be the favorite just because I feel like that's the name, that's the clout. I don't really feel like Jeremy Stephens is the favorite here because he's the actual better fighter. But then again, dude, listen, this is like almost like that same situation with Andrei Arlovski where Jeremy Stephens is a very, very, very well-versed fighter, and he's been in a lot of wars. So can he take a punch? Absolutely. Is he going to be able to take many more punches? We shall see. But I don't know, man. Part of me wants to go with Jeremy Stephens, but my gut says go with Drakkar Klose because he's at a +100 and he really has a chance to put him away here. But then if you want to go safe money, you can go over 2.5 rounds and -150, but I doubt it even does that. So you can probably go with over 1.5 rounds, which that is my absolute favorite bet on BetMGM. The over 1.5 rounds, which I literally don't find that on any other book. So thank you for that. I've cashed so many times with that, especially as a parlay piece and fights that you think aren't going to go over the first round, which for some reason in this fight, you would think it's going to end in the first round. But I think Drakkar is, with his footwork, he can move around Stephens enough to stay away from that bomb. And I mean, Jeremy Stephens at this point, you pretty much know what you're getting with him. He's not going to come out here and do some flashy kicks or surprise you with a new striking style. He's going to come forward. He's going to try to knock your head off and then eat your ear if he can or whatever he can get his hands on. The dude's an animal.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I have a feeling that it's really about how do these guys come into this fight. And I feel like Jeremy Stevens is not coming into this fight to just win. As silly as that may be, I feel like after 4 losses, it's like, what's another loss without a bonus? You know what I mean? So it's like it's either bonus or loss at this point for Jeremy Stevens. So he wants that 50K bonus, which is why I think he's going to put his chin out there. I think he's going to put himself out there, and I think he's going to look for that finish. And if that's the case, I think I may even go under 2.5 rounds. I think I'm going the other way. It's just, again, you go with your gut. That's my gut. I'm trying to get into Jeremy Stevens' mindset. Is that the kind of guy? Is Jeremy Stevens the kind of guy who comes in and doesn't fling wild hooks in round 1? So,
No.
right, like he's gonna get his nose in there and he's gonna try to put you out. I mean, and he's put good fighters out, right? He's put out Josh Emmett, who I think is a very good fighter. He put him out.
The thing with me, it kind of says with Jeremy Stevens is that, like, although he doesn't leave his chin in the air like most of these fighters that we mentioned earlier, Jeremy Stevens, he throws those looping punches and he throws those scary type punches that if you miss, he can step into a very, very good counter. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Klose is. He's a good counter puncher. You know what I'm saying? He may not pack the power that Jeremy Stevens packs, but he's a very, very good counter puncher. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that can get him in trouble. I mean, we did see that counter punching in the Beneil Dariush fight, because up until that second round, he was getting caught. I mean, Beneil did get caught a little bit. I mean, he did get chipped up quite a bit. I mean, it was a back and forth fight. But yeah, man, this one is definitely fireworks. This one should be fun. You're right, man. Jeremy Stevens can blast him, but if here, I'm probably gonna go with Drakkar.
All right, so we're kind of heads up there, but this is it's a tight fight. It's a tight line there too. But again, BetMGM, as Drew said before, and he's 100% right. They'll give you 1.5 and 2.5 on every fight. I mean, you can bet over under 1.5, 2.5. And this main event, if you like it, you're going to be able to bet over 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They offer everything on BetMGM. So again, sign up with the link. Let's give them one more shout out before we get into this main event. Sign up with the link. All right, BetMGM, free bet up to $600. Look in the show notes. It'll be in the show notes, and we tweet it out all the time. So just follow us on Twitter. You basically get it with every tweet that we get. You'll get something. All right. Yeah, some guy, I don't even know what this means. You got that, Drew, or what?
Yo, Guy, I wish I knew what that was, my boy.
Yeah.
But Google Translate me, my boy, or copy and paste it. You know what I'm saying?
I'll Google Translate that after this. I don't even know what that is. All right, so let's get into this main event, Drew. I'm gonna let you. I'll introduce it again because I kind of like how that last breakdown went. Let me introduce it, and then you do your fight analysis on this. We got Robert Whittaker and Kelvin Gastelum, right? So they were supposed to fight a few years back at this point, right, for the title, and Whittaker basically had to pull out. I believe it was a day or two before the fight, and I think that was the card isn't that the card that Izzy fought Anderson Silva, and that turned into the main event, but they kept it 3 rounds.
I think
Pretty sure that's the card, right?
Yeah, I think so.
This fight dropped out. So, Gastelum went on to fight Izzy and, gave a great performance against Izzy. It was definitely 2-2 going into that last round. And then Izzy, dug deep and was able to win that fight, handily in that last round. But that was a hell of a fight. So you get Whittaker here, who a lot of people have been – I mean, both of these guys, right? A lot of people have been criticizing them, kind of questioning them, but they're kind of put themselves in the position to deserve this fight, right? Whittaker's going to have a 3-inch height advantage, but against most people have a height advantage against Gastelum. Obviously 185, and he's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. Gastelum comes in southpaw. Whittaker, he's kind of an unconventional striker, right? He kind of looms around. His arms are low. His hands are low. Good striker. But again, neither one of these guys have great accuracy. They're both in the 40% range. Pretty good defense. I don't expect a takedown here. I expect this to be a striking match. So are we going to have a 2-round, 3-round, or 5-round striking match? I'm not really sure. I mean, it's going to be, kickboxing striking match. So that's the intro. So breaking it down further than that, Drew, what do you think here?
I mean, this fight is tricky, man, because like you said, you have Robert Whittaker, who has that Taekwondo style, who's well-versed pretty much in the game of MMA, who's been at the top, who was a champion, who defended his belt, who's pretty much done it all. So for me, I feel like the problem with Whittaker wasn't even the fact that he lacked in any part of his game. I think the only thing that lacked for him was his motivation. And I think he has said it. He said that before and has gone on record before saying that. Kelvin, on the other hand, I feel like he legitimately burnt out. Kelvin had a taste of that sunshine. And then after that Izzy fight, he just didn't look the same. And pretty much hasn't looked the same. And I feel like he's been kind of like reinventing himself every single time. Comes out against Izzy, puts on a performance of a lifetime, then comes up against Darren Till, loses split decision, then does the weirdest shit I've ever seen against Jack Hermanson and taps to a heel hook. Like, was he hurt during camp? Was that ankle bothering him? Because, I mean, I've seen heel hooks, and I understand they suck. But, I mean, the way he was in that heel hook and the way he tapped, it almost looked prematurely, that tap. So, I mean, I don't know. It was a little weird. Well, whatever. Then he comes out against Ian Heinisch and looks great. Puts on a performance, strikes, and looks like the Kelvin that we kind of know that he can, that he can be. But again, now he's under a microscope. Now he's on the big stage. Is he going to perform? Every big spot that I feel like he should have performed, he hasn't, or he falls short. And I don't know, man. He's up against Robert Whittaker that I feel like if you get a motivated Robert Whittaker, he's best in the world, man. And I mean, he's proved it before. He's shown it before. I don't think if he gets taken down to the ground, which is where I feel like Kelvin, oddly enough, although they're both strikers, the one who I see who would go to the takedown first would probably be Kelvin, because I don't see Robert shooting for a takedown. I don't see Rob shooting for a takedown first unless he gets blasted, and even then I see him throwing punches when he gets blasted. Because of the way he fights, he's a rangy fighter, even though he doesn't have a lot of range or reach. But like you said, he is the bigger fighter in this fight. I mean, you're fighting Kelvin, who's not very big. So he can use his range and he can use his Taekwondo style to just point fight, which is what we've seen Robert do in the past. Because one thing about Kelvin, although his striking accuracy isn't that much, the reason you could say that is because he throws bombs, and if he does connect, he can put you to sleep. We have seen that. But so can Robert, which is what I feel like he's going to do. So, I don't know, man. It's going to be a fun fight, but I'm probably going to lean Whittaker here against Kelvin.
I'm going to put it to you this way. I can't tell you that I think Kelvin Gastelum is going to win this fight. I think Robert Whittaker is the better fighter. At 185, Whittaker only has one loss. It's to Izzy. Right. And again, that one loss came after the Kelvin Gastelum fight was canceled. Israel beat Gastelum. He's coming off that. I believe it was a sports hernia. There may have been some other things going on, but it was definitely a sports hernia that Whittaker had. Coming back from that, and then Izzy, put on a clinic on him. Okay, and we get that. Hurt him early and then finished him second round. That's his only loss. And again, the motivation thing, I mean, what was the cause of the motivation? Was it because of the injuries? I mean, don't get me wrong. As you know, injuries suck, right? You get an injury, you got to come back from it. You got to rehab. You get injured a second or a third time. There've been a couple fights that he's had fall out. You kind of lose interest because you're so into camp, and then you don't get that fight. You don't get that ultimate, achieve that ultimate goal. But he was in there twice with Yoel Romero and survived and won the fight. I mean, he's beaten Derek Brunson, main event. That's when he really came on the main stage with me. And I was like, wow, this guy could really win a title. Jacare, was able to finish him. And then even what he did in his last fight against Cannonier, I mean, he totally outstruck Cannonier. People were talking about Cannonier beating Whittaker and getting a title fight, and he outclassed Cannonier. So again, what do I see happening here? I think that he's going to do the same thing to Kelvin. I mean, I think Kelvin's got a puncher's chance. I don't think Kelvin's winning the decision here. I think he's got a puncher's chance to win. So if you're gonna back Kelvin, a lot of people like taking the big odds, and right now I'm just looking at it. It's plus 210. One of the books, I think it was BetMGM, was plus 220 when I looked at it this morning. I just wanted to see what the line was, and I think if you're going to take Kelvin, I think you take him by KO, TKO. I don't think he can win other than that. So if you want to take Gastelum and you really think he's going to, with the puncher's chance, that's about plus 600 right now, Joe. So that's more or less what I'm looking. But I don't see Kelvin winning this fight. I see Whittaker just outclassing him and going the distance.
No, I agree here, man. I feel like he's going to do the same thing that he did to Jared, because Jared, just like Gastelum, has that puncher's chance where they can literally blast you and put you to sleep. Now, just to pretty much point out a little bit about what you were talking about when it comes to motivation. The reason why I think it can be the motivation is because, come on, what's the ultimate goal when you're an athlete, right? If you play basketball, win a chip. If you play football, win the Super Bowl. If you do soccer, win the World Cup, whatever it is. Tennis, whatever, so on and so on. UFC, win the belt. What did Robert do? Win the belt. And not only did he win the belt, he defended it many, many times. You know what I'm saying? And not only many times, against really, really good fighters, against top-class fighters that were wars. So not only did he defended it the way that you want a champion to defend it, proving that he's that he's worth that gold that he wears around his waist. You know what I'm saying? For him to get burnt out, I kind of almost understand it. Not that I've ever been a champion like that or whatever, but you can get burnt out by the grind, man. Especially if you're someone like him who have reached a goal that you set out for yourself at a very long time ago to just make money, support your family while fighting, and be a champion. He did that. He's literally famous because of fighting. A goal that he set can literally mark off and ride off into the sunset right now if he really wanted to. But guess what? Collecting checks and being cool and fighting and knocking people out is pretty sweet. And choking people out, from my experience, is awesome as well. And getting paid for it, even better. So, I mean, dude, this fight, Robert Whittaker, I feel like is going to come out here and still show that he's a badass. And if anything, what would motivate him now is to go get that belt again and then be a two-time champion, a champion that was a champion, defended his belt twice, 3 times, and lost it, and then got it back because guess what? He's that badass. Because, dude, if we saw anything in that last Jared Cannonier fight, is that he's still very sharp, if not even sharper now. So, I mean, Whittaker, dude, he's fresh, and I feel like Kelvin's in for a bad night. Or we could just have a great fight like he did against Izzy. Don't get me wrong. Kelvin here is a plus 210, but he's definitely somebody who can fight. He's not no sleeper here. He's not somebody who's a can. You know what I'm saying? He can look like a can if Robert Whittaker comes out here and looks like he did against Jared. But like I said, that's why I feel like Gastelum, especially now that he's butt buddies with Triple C and seen with him everywhere. Who knows if he's been working on his wrestling? You know what I'm saying? But Robert gets it done. That's just how I feel about it. If anything, you can bet this fight to go the distance. Because if anything, if we seen Robert and his game plans, yeah, he can knock you out and yeah, he can put you to sleep. But Gastelum has a good chin. He hasn't been put to sleep before, but he has a good chin. And he's very durable. So if anything, this fight, if you want to go a couple angles, I'd probably go with the over 1.5, over 2.5, and for it to go the distance if you want to go for the trifecta. But I just feel like this goes the distance and Robert gets it done by decision.
Yeah, I think I'm going to wait until as long as I can on Saturday and hope that maybe Whittaker comes under 200 and I'll throw him in a parlay or something like that. But that's about it. That's probably where I'm going to be betting. Bet it as late as possible. So, Drew, I'm going to do just finish the podcast like this. Make sure everybody knows about sign up for BetMGM. All right. Great book in Jersey. All our Jersey fam, definitely take advantage of this. Risk-free first bet up to 600. Sign up again, as I said earlier, with the casino link. You get $1,000 deposit. You get 100% deposit bonus. It's definitely worth it. So that's the first way that I would go. And then the second thing, I just want to remind everybody, please, on YouTube, like, subscribe, turn on those notifications so you know when the next podcast is. We bet here, we talk about betting, we break down the main card, and we tell you what we're going to be betting throughout the week. And then again, between today and Saturday, Drew and myself will post all our bets. We have hockey bets, Major League Baseball bets, some NBA stuff, but I'm staying away from NBA now because guys are playing, guys aren't playing. Like I can't even keep track of it anymore. I'd rather just assume everybody's in these games. So Drew, I'm gonna sign us off here. Happy birthday this week, my brother, and best of luck with your bet, sir.
Thank you, my brother. And also, I just translated what my boy said. Guy was asking what sport. Guy, we're talking about UFC and fighting, guy. We're talking about fights, my boy. Thank you for tuning in.
Drew, what language was that? Is that Russian?
That was Russian for sure. Yeah. So thank you for tuning in, Guy, and God bless everybody.
What up? What up? It's your boy DJ Naeem. I want to give a huge shout out. Going out to my Jersey boys breaking down these UFC cards, baby. Let's go.